Welcome everybody to Clarinet Level 2, Episode 1. You're going to need a tuner and a metronome. My favorite one is Sound Corset. It's an easy, free app you can download on your phone, but you can use any tuner free app that you already have downloaded. Hi everybody, I'm Mrs. Oliver. I'm one of the band teachers at Clark Middle School, and I play clarinet. And I'm going to be doing a clarinet tutorial for the Level 2 clarinet students. And we're going to be talking about equipment and different things that we need to make sure that we have a good clarinet sound. And so some of this might be repeated to you from what your teachers tell you, but I'm just so we spent 9 weeks away from our band teachers, so I'm just here to remind you of some of the things and maybe some little clarinet tricks to help you. Okay, the materials you're going to need are obviously your clarinet, several working reeds, right? You should always have at least 4 working reeds, and also a tuner metronome. This is like an old school kind. You can use a free one on your phone. Those are usually a lot more easier to manage because they're free and they're on your phone, and you can connect your headphones to them so you can listen to them at. Some of the optional materials are a neck strap. So I have a clarinet neck strap, and it adjusts, clips on here, and I use it because it helps my hand position and not put my hand in an awkward and improper place, and so that way I can have proper technique, right? So we have to hold our instruments correctly so that way we get better use out of them. Okay, and I put on there that also a mirror is an option. Sometimes as you are going to be learning some of the higher notes that we have to be covering these holes down here, if you don't have a mirror to see, sometimes our fingers slip and it's hard to notice that. So it's playing in front of a mirror, like a closet mirror, sometimes is very helpful with that. Okay, so let's do a reed check. Like I said, I ask my students to always have 4 working reeds. I like to use the Blue Box Van Doren, or it's like a gold box, and it's Mitchell-Lurie. Those are really good brands for you to use at your level. You could be using a size 2.5 or a 3. It all depends on you, the reed size. And those are the 2 that I really recommend, okay? It's important to have the correct reed size. If you have a reed that is a 2.5 and you need a 3, it's going to be too soft for you and you're going to play very flat. If you need a 2.5 and you're playing on a 3.5, you're going to sound very stuffy and you're going to be blowing into your instrument, and it's going to be so hard to make a sound. Okay, so it's important to have the correct clarinet reed size. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of mouthpiece work, some of the things that you might have been doing when you first started beginning band, right? So we're going to do it just to make sure that we have some important details of clarinet playing established. Okay, so that's where we're going to work on our mouthpiece. We're going to do some exercises with it, and we're going to have some fun. One of the things I do want to share with you is when you're putting your reed. Okay, so your reed should look like this, right? See how straight it is? There's no chips, no cracks in it. It's not wavy. It's super straight. Okay. When you place your reed on your mouthpiece, I always like to have the ligature on there already, and I just slide the reed on from the top. Sometimes when we do this, and it's real easy to get a chip in there right away. I want to say one of the other brands I like too has this line right here. So there's this like a straight line across your reed. I always use that as a guide of where to place my ligature. Okay, because sometimes we put the ligature too high, and when the ligature is too high, it kind of looks like this, where it's this little concave part of the mouthpiece. It should have a little bit of space before the ligature is there. I don't know if you can kind of see there. Okay, if it's too high, you kind of see it like this, that the metal part is like sticking up from here. And if you have it too high, it's not going to vibrate enough. And some students like to put it low like this, where the bottom of the ligature is meeting the bottom of the reed, and you don't want to do that either, because then the reed is going to be too loose. So the way we get sound to produce in the clarinet is this reed is vibrating super fast inside our mouth, and if you it has to vibrate at a certain speed, and this ligature is put in place to hold it at a good balance. So if you put it too low, it is going to give you not a great sound, right? The reed's going to vibrate too loosely. So we put it right in that sweet spot, right underneath the line of the reed. I like to turn it until I feel it catch. I like to turn it until I feel it catch. Sometimes I bring it back a little bit if I feel like I went too far. Okay, because if we crank it until it doesn't move anymore, your reed is not going to vibrate and you're going to squeak a lot. I used to use a tuner just to get myself to play with a steady sound, right? Because if we're not playing with a steady sound, we're never going to be able to tune. We're never going to be able to match with the students that are playing next to us, and we're not going to get that pretty clarinet sound. So one of the things I like to do with the tuner, okay, I'm going to show you this one that I have here. It's been kind of moving around because I've been talking, right? So it's kind of picking up my pitch and it's telling me if I'm in tune, out of tune, right? Just playing on my mouthpiece, right? Mouthpiece and barrel. And we want to get a concert F sharp to come out in our tuner, okay? So let's try that really quickly. So my F sharp is too sharp, which is not a bad problem to have. Now it's your turn. Try on your mouthpiece and barrel to play an F sharp on your tuner. If you feel that you are sharp, not a bad thing. If you are flat, you need to say the letter E, firm up your corners, and make sure your teeth are on the top of the mouthpiece. So sometimes we sound like that, right? Like our sound is all over the place and we're not steady. So we need to make our tummies tight. We keep this firm. We push up, right? And we try to get that needle to not move. So I moved my tongue at the end so that you could see how much your tongue affects how you're playing. Okay, so I think it's super important to get that as steady as you can. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to play 4 counts for me. And you're going to play on, get that F sharp with that tuner going. And you're going to play it a couple times, like 3 times. And then you can do 8 beats and then you can do 12 beats. Just to see how far you can keep a steady, 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 steady sound. Okay? Okay, so what you're also going to do when you get that done, when you've done those beats, you're going to try the same thing on your clarinet, but you're going to do it with your scale, right? The scale that you were learning at the end of the year, or the middle of the year, which is your B flat scale. You're going to start with C, D, E, F, G, and A. Okay, we're doing those 6 notes. We're going to try them together. And we're going to just do 4 beats. And same thing, I'm going to have my tuner on and I'm going to be trying to keep that needle as still as I possibly can. You will see fluctuation, but you don't want to see the needle doing this or your lights moving all over the place. You want to keep it as steady as possible. Okay, so same things apply, right? You're going to keep your bottom lip under. You're going to keep your teeth on top. I always tell my students that this thumb rest is it's not a rest. It's to help you push up. Okay, so make sure that you're not playing with your head down like this and that your bell is in between your knees. Okay, so we're going to try going from our C to our A. Okay, and we're going to do that tapping our foot. We're going to be listening to the metronome. We're going to keep our teeth on top. Let's see if I can make this louder. Okay, let's try it together. And 1, 2, 3. Alright, so the next thing that I want to show you kind of quickly, I call it the clarinet walk down. That's what my students know it as. And I'm going to show you some different ways to get yourself learning the next part of your scale, which is your B and your C, which honestly is the hardest part to do on the clarinet. Like, that's the hardest thing you're probably ever going to have to do on this instrument, is going from A to B. Okay, so I have these little tricks that I do with my students to kind of help them to learn. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to learn today is the two steps of the walk down. It has 8, but I'm going to show you 2. We're going to start with the C, and then we're going to play a B flat, an A, and a G. That's it. Okay, a B flat, we always start with C, a B flat, an A, and a G. And notice how my fingers are covering the holes. That is super important. If you don't cover the holes, if they slide a little bit, even like this, you're not going to get those notes to come out. Okay, so when we do this, I always tell my students that once you get to the third one, squeeze it super hard, so you can't like squeeze it so hard, and then look to see the imprint of the little holes, to see if they're in the middle of your fingers. The one that's going to always give you a hard time is this third finger. It always tends to slip up like this, okay? So if you have to, put the bell between your knees to help that third finger build up some strength and cover that hole, okay? So we're gonna start with C, then B flat, then A, then G. In whole notes, and we're not gonna use our tongue. Try it over and over and over again, starting on C. Okay, and the reason I ask you to not use your tongue is we don't need another extra little thing to kind of throw us off when we're crossing the break. Okay, so when we're doing our walk down, we're not going to use our tongue. And I know that's not something we hear often, but just for the walk down, okay? Not for everything, just for this little walk down that we did. So remember, C, B flat, A, G is what we're doing. Once you can do that, we're gonna add this next pinky right here. I call it pinky 2. I number them like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're gonna go all the way down to pinky 2, and you're gonna add that for the next step, okay? We'll learn that next week. So I hope that this was very helpful for you, and like maybe understanding some things that you maybe didn't understand before, or maybe just as a refresher, because I know your wonderful teachers have told you a lot of great information, and they're super smart, and they care about you, and they want you to succeed, and so do I. So I hope that this was helpful to you. So remember to have good reads, practice with the tuner to get that needle steady, right? Cover the holes, lots of things that we talked about. Feel free to just pause the video at any time to look up something, or maybe hear me play, then you play. And I look forward to doing some more of these videos with you. So hope to see you soon. Bye.